Welcome to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. Thank you for joining us at the
Fabulous
Arizona
Center.
Center.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
I know.
We don't have Taco Tuesday.
Yeah,
I was like, do we have a Tuesday thing?
Yeah, we don't have any
know.
tacos.
We don't have any tacos.
But.
We could change that after the show.
Well, that's true, but you do have us.
You do have us.
Indeed.
You
and
don't
we're
need
happy
tacos.
that you are making time in your day for the morning show as we bring you a whole host of things, guests, fun, history.
History.
Indeed. History.
Indeed.
So, all right. So, let's do some things to celebrate.
Yeah.
I love all the multi-layers of that. I'm like, oh, I should bring in my accordion, which I can't play, but
You've threatened that twice now, so I feel like it just needs
someday
to
it may happen,
Yeah.
but it's not pretty.
Okay. That's okay.
So, but something that is pretty and delicious, medjool dates. So they started off mainly being a fruit available in the Middle East and made their way into the U.S. in like the 18th century. And they are so good and tasty, and you can get them all over the place now. They have a hint of caramel, and they're just sweet and delicious.
Do you ever stop at Dateland on your way to California?
Oh, I love Dateland, but so back in the day, I used to get like a date shake.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm like, can I get a small and share it? So
that's what I would normally do, but my husband needs his own full-size shake.
That's such a commitment to, they're delicious, but it's like, oh my gosh.
He loves it, and he gets malt. He always gets malt added
course.
to it,
Right.
for that extra oomph. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
that
And
is
I love
a
Dateland because you
tradition.
can just go and get so many dates.
I know.
A variety of dates, and so.
Yeah, it's a fun stop.
And then also something you can eat. It is homemade soup day. Homemade.
Like, oh my
moo soup. I guess that would be for a creamy soup. It'd be
Yeah, it
homoo.
would. Some milky, creamy soup.
Yeah, but it's like soup is such a perfect thing on a cold day. It's been around since 20,000 BC.
Whoa.
And and one of my favorites.
How do they know that?
Because they see bowls, I guess, and it's like.
And there had to be soup in those bowls.
Well, they were soup bowls because soup spoons next to them.
Okay,
So.
all right. All right.
So, and soup is really according to kind of almost the region, just using local things and a way to use them up.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite stories is stone soup, about how the person comes to town and is like, oh, can you feed me? It's like, oh, I don't have any food. I'm like, here, I'm going to make you some stone soup. So they throw in the stone into the hot water and like, hey, who has some carrots? Who has some potatoes? And so by the end of it, everybody has offered one thing, and then there's this huge pot of soup
That's a nice
that they
story.
all enjoy.
Yeah, I love that.
And so,
Actually, and that's something that Pat and I do to try to eat healthy is we'll make like a big batch of soup. We use like crushed tomatoes and water, and then we'll throw in all sorts of veggies and beans, and then we like make it in a big pot like this, and then we'll eat it like for lunch all throughout the week. And it's
or you can even
it's
freeze
nice.
it. So
Yeah.
that way then you can warm it up and maybe one day throw some rice into
Yeah,
it. So,
no, it's nice.
Or throw some other things into it as the weeks go on. So that way you're not like, the same soup day after day after day.
See, I'm good with it, honestly. Like, I don't know, but yeah, Pat kind of gets like that.
Well, yeah, because you want to like spice it up a little bit, or use it kind of almost like a bland soup, and then you throw like, here's some Southwest spices for
Yeah.
today, and
Yeah.
here's some more garlic.
But it's good having all those fresh vegetables, and I just
And it's easy
love
to
it.
make in a way you can make a big pot and then just use it all
Yeah.
along as you move.
Totally.
So it is also hemp day.
Hemp day?
Yeah, not hump day, hemp day. So basically celebrating the fact that hemp is a plant that they can make textiles and clothing out of the fiber, as well as beauty products. And it has such a wide range of uses, and it's also good for the environment. It's very green.
Yeah.
And so
No, it's an incredible thing that we have. Also, you just reminded me, though, it is Hump Day Eve.
I know it
Happy
is Hump
Hump Day Eve.
Indeed, Hump Day Eve.
You love Eves.
I do love the
I know.
eaves. So yeah, so I just think it's cool. I mean, growing up in Indiana, it's like there were all these hemp fields because during the war they used it for rope.
Right. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it's got a lot of uses, and you're now starting to see hemp clothing show up more and more.
Yes, you are.
And
that's very true.
Yeah, in all kinds of places. And then today is also I Heart Horror Day.
Ooh.
So there are so many ways to celebrate this and embrace those thrills, those chills, whether it's literature, film, or whatever. So maybe you want to sit down and read some Stephen King, some Mary Shelley.
Yeah, Mary Shelley's making a comeback.
Yeah.
Also, Grady Hendrix, if you are a horror reader fan, Grady Hendrix just came out with a brand new book. It's called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and it is a really fun, interesting read so far. It's beefy for a Grady Hendrix book. You would love his author's picture, by the way. He looks like I should bring it in and show it to you. He's such a character. But yeah, he's kind of another horror staple in the horror books world.
I mean, maybe you're more the let's watch a movie. You've got The Shining, The Exorcist, all kinds of classic horror.
Or you could do the campy ones like you like.
Oh, indeed. I love the campy
That would be
ones.
more my style, I think. Yeah.
And so the ones you just want to laugh
What
at.
did you say the last one that was so weird was like frogs, wasn't it? Didn't we do one about frogs?
Yeah, there was the movie about frogs, or
or
Kingdom of the Spiders, which is also filmed locally here.
See, spiders I get, but like frogs. No, rabbits.
Rabbits.
That's what it was. You were talking about the rabbits.
Night of the Lepus. Yeah. With DeForest Kelley and Janet Leigh from, another Hitchcock.
I know.
From Psycho to...
I gotta look that up. Yeah. I'm so intrigued.
To When Bunnies Attack.
To When Bunnies Attack.
Yeah. And then I love just even the trailers because they have such great... It's like...
When Bunnies Attack. We have a teaser.
A teaser. That's right. Foreshadowing, we call that. And
for attacking. Yeah.
So...
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with a guest, and we'll tell you a little bit why we're hanging out with bunnies ourselves here today. Keep it right here.
And welcome back to the morning show on this pre-hump day.
I was like, did he forget the day?
I was like, do I say hump day eve? Do I say pre-hump day? So just trying to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
Does that count as foreplay?
Fresh.
It does. So.
Marshall's a big fan of foreplay. Yeah.
Who's not?
I don't know.
See, there you go.
I was going to make a joke, and I was like,
4 out of 5 dentists say.
Foreplay is recommended. Marshall Shore.
Oh, Melissa Farley.
Hi, and we are coming at you from the
fabulous Arizona Center.
We are joined by our guest, Mindy.
Yes,
from the Cozy Craft Room. Hi.
I am from the Cozy Craft Room.
What is the Cozy Craft Room?
Oh my gosh, it's a craft room. And we get nice and cozy, and we make all kinds of wonderful, fantastic things. Marshall is holding a junk journal.
What is a junk journal?
A junk journal are little pieces of odds and ends and ephemera that you might have in your house.
Hold on, look at this.
It could be lace or ribbon, little cards, recipe cards. They have little secret pockets where you can put little journaling in there, like an old-fashioned envelope.
Oh, good gosh.
Natalie made this.
20 minutes later. Your segment is over.
Okay, go on, because I'm like, I got...
So I've got a group that meets and junk journals. They share some of their materials with each other.
Library card.
They might stamp items or color items. You can see how the pages are torn and edged and inked.
Yeah.
So that makes a lovely little journal. You can put photos in it, little keepsakes in it.
Is this the kind of thing you do at the Cozy Craft Room?
One of the things we do, we are a craft room. There was this pandemic that happened a few years ago.
I was there.
We all ended up isolated in our homes. So when it was over, we realized that there's no place for people to gather to craft. We can't go to the big box stores. You can't lug all your supplies into one of those stores and hang out in the back room. They don't like that.
Yeah.
And the libraries and community centers.
She knows from experience.
I'm telling y'all, I have been asked to leave more than once. And the places that have carpet don't like you to bring your glue and your paint and your glitter.
Oh, the glitter, yeah.
So there's no place to go. So the Cozy Craft Room is a craft room for people who have downsized and lost their craft room.
Okay.
Or their grown kids moved home and took the bedroom. And there's no place to gather. Their homes are small. So they can invite 2, 3, 5, 20 of their best friends to meet them at the craft room and quilt and knit and crochet and sew and make junk journals and cards and scrapbook pages. So we have people that do all kinds of things at the craft room.
So is it like you can show up and work on whatever you want to work on, or do you have like classes that
We have lots of classes. So
Okay.
all of these things you could take a class for. We do
Okay.
classes in the evenings, classes on the weekends, and weekend retreats where we'll be open 12 hours on Friday, 12 hours on Saturday, 9 hours on Sunday. So you basically move in. You can't sleep there, but you come and go as you please all weekend
Okay.
for the retreat, and folks will leave everything set up. We had a group last weekend that was sewing, and a group the weekend before that was quilting, a group before that was doing a lot of paper crafting.
Yeah.
But I've got graphic artists who come and use it as their office space and work to get out of the house.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that adorable? That is crochet.
It is.
So that's a little critter, amigurumi, a Japanese name for little crocheted critters. It started as an octopus, but I got carried away with
But
the
it now has a
tentacles.
million
So I guess it's a
legs.
jellyfish
Yeah.
now. So
It
that
can
one
be
was
whatever
fun.
you want it to be.
He needs a name. I think that one, Henry made that one. Henry and I did that. Henry is a young man that comes and likes to crochet with us at the craft room.
How cool.
Mm-hmm.
So is crafting just that thing that you've always done and always loved?
Yes, I've crafted kind of on the side. It was a fun thing to do. I started with cross stitch in college and embroidery and a little bit of sewing. My mother-in-law got me into quilting.
Okay.
So it's something I've done on the side, and the Cozy Craft Room is a little bit of a mission. So I felt greatly compelled to create a space where people could come and gather and hang out. And while I was kind of being told to make this space, my question was, what are we going to do while we're there? And it was like, wait, I craft. Lots of people craft. We'll craft together. So this is a great little cosmetic bag. We teach people how to make. Little pets, we teach them how to sew. This is an intermediate class where we teach them how to sew. This is a beginner knitting class.
This is a beginner?
That's brand new beginner.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Just knit and purl.
There's no way I could.
Isn't it?
like
Oh,
that.
it matches. Look at you, girl. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
I love the colors.
And so there's a bag behind you that you should grab a hold
Oh.
of because it would go with the scarf.
Afraid, there was someone in the studio that said they might take it home with them. This is a duffel bag where we actually quilted the outside, assembled the whole thing, and it's completely lined on the inside with
got pockets
pockets.
on the side.
So I have some folks that call themselves the bag ladies, and they come and they make all kinds of bags, purses, bags, duffel bags.
Very cool.
This is one of my favorite. It's just bright. My husband was like, "Ooh, is that one mine?" I'm like, no. But I'll teach you how to make your own.
That would be
I would say
mine.
he's welcome to come to the class, then he can make his own.
He can. Well, I brought some things for you to make today, too. So I still
okay.
like to read books that have paper.
Me too.
So we're going to do these little bookmarks. This is double-sided adhesive tape, so
Okay.
you drag it along.
Okay.
And we have these little characters that will get taped on the front and back of that bookmark.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but mine says books are true magic. And I've got a little unicorn that also has a butt that I get to on the back.
Well, I got to have a front and a back.
It's so cute.
So
Look at
unicorn
it.
butt. You get some unicorn butt.
Yeah.
And mine says, I'll never forget your spot.
And you've got a little elephant.
Right.
Because
And
they don't
indeed-
forget. So
Cute.
those are colored with alcohol markers. So I teach a class to teach people how to use their alcohol markers or their watercolors. We make like this little canvas we'll make and
I've
turn
always
it in.
wanted to do alcohol
They are
markers.
so fun,
Ooh.
but they're different. It requires a little bit of finessing to make them behave.
Okay.
All
Hold on.
right, we've got space. We're
Okay.
going to make space here.
All right, so do I just press
You
with
just
this?
drag
I just
it
press.
along that
Okay.
edge right there, and the tape will let go and stick to the cardstock.
Did I do it wrong?
Do you hear it clicking? Oh, so upside down.
Wait,
There we go.
Okay.
Just like that.
did I do it?
Did it leave a little residue?
Yeah.
Try again.
Okay.
There we go.
Yay! I just got to press harder.
you
Okay,
hear the
I got
sound.
it. I got it.
Alright.
I got it. So I imagine that doing something like this, you've created quite a community probably through this.
It's amazing. I've got the most amazing men and women. I've got grandmothers that come. I've got teenagers that come and hang out. They've met new friends. We have game nights some nights where we will play trivia or board games or card games or dice games because people are looking to make connections,
Yeah.
meet folks. And in my demographic, people are surprisingly, unexpectedly single. They're realizing
Interesting.
they've just moved here and all their friend base is not here, or
right.
or they lose a spouse and they're trying to figure out what's next. And so this gives them a place to meet new friends that like to do the same things that they like to do. So I've got folks that will come. I've got a membership that's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, unlimited access all month.
Okay.
So they'll come and hang out on a Tuesday or Wednesday, or sometimes all 3 days. They'll stop, go to lunch together, come back, hang out till we get in the afternoon and head home for the night.
So, do people have to bring their own supplies, or do you have supplies
They
there?
bring all their own because
Okay.
I don't know what they're going to be wanting to craft.
Okay.
So I might see them drag in their sewing machine or their embroidery machine. I might see them bring their scrapbooking materials,
Yeah.
or their bags and skeins of yarn. So I don't know what they're going to want to do, so I can't really prepare for that.
Right.
So they bring it, and I've got these great workstations with lots of lights and electric, comfy office chairs. We've got a little kitchenette in the back where we share snacks, because you got to snack when you craft.
I certainly
Right?
agree with that
Right?
sentiment. Yeah.
How cute is that?
Look at it.
Indeed.
They're adorable.
So, but when a class happens, you supply.
I
like-
supply the things that they need.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
If it's
Wow.
a sewing class, they'll bring their own machine. And sometimes they'll bring the fabric that they prefer if they want to use a different type of fabric, but I'll
Okay.
have the pattern. And we'll cut it together, assemble together, sew it together, quilt it together, and show them those basic skills.
What's your favorite thing to make?
That's hard to say.
So that's like, which is your
really
favorite
hard to
child?
say.
Which is your favorite dog?
I know.
Or for you, which is your favorite husband?
Oh, we're going there, are we? I really love the card making. This little sassy girl.
She is sassy. Look at how
Trying
sassy
to figure
she
out if
is.
she's going
Is
to wear
that-
her
is that you?
sassy
Is that
pants or
me?
her fancy pants.
You know what? I actually do have a picture of, like, that looks like this when I was
don't
a
doubt
little
that at
girl.
all.
Yeah, that's
So I
really
do like
funny.
making cards because I can gift them. They don't stay at my house and take up shelf space. I can share them with the world.
This is cute. It says, "I'm undecided about which pants to wear today, smarty or sassy." That's clever.
But I also like sewing and quilting, so it's just a lot of fun for me.
Okay. This is adorable. Like,
Lots
this
of
is
layers.
so-
I have a machine that cuts all those pieces out and I layer them together.
Oh, wow.
So Cricut classes, I have a Cricut machine.
Oh,
Very
I keep
popular.
hearing about
I'm
Cricut.
telling you.
I know.
I get people that bring them in the box. Help! I don't know what to do with it.
well, that's why I've never got one, because it's like I see so many people using it for so many different things.
Different things. So they'll bring
Yeah.
it and we'll explore. We'll play with vinyl. We'll play with cardstock. We'll play with just plain paper and get them used to using the software that goes with it. And then I make them send me pictures of what they've created. So we have a couple of levels of classes. That one's very popular. That one sells out pretty fast.
I bet. Yeah.
So we get a lot of people coming into Cricut. And then I've got one lady that calls her crack hut. She brings her crack hut machine and plays with us. So it's a lot of fun.
So for the Cricut class, do you need to bring your own Cricut, or do
You bring your own Cricut,
Okay.
and we really teach the software that goes with it. So the software doesn't matter what brand of Cricut you're using. So
okay.
you bring your laptop or bring your tablet, and I teach you the software. And the Cricut is a cutting machine, so instead of a printer,
Right.
it cuts.
Right.
So once you have your piece set up and send it to the Cricut, it will cut out the pieces, all those little pieces,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
and then you get to layer them and glue them back together
Yeah.
again. Or if it's vinyl, you can stick them in layers on
Right.
something.
That's so incredible.
Are they fun?
Okay, so for anyone who wants to come and craft at the Cozy Craft Room, let us know how we can find out how to. Do we have to schedule time? Can you just show up? How does this work?
It's probably better to go to the Cozy Craft Room's website, so
Okay.
cozycraftroom.com. You can
that's
see,
easy.
It's got a calendar. Imagine that, a calendar
Woo.
with all of the classes that we have.
Nice.
And you can reserve workstations on that calendar as well as attend classes and sign up for retreats
Okay.
and get an idea of what all's going on.
Okay.
And if you just want to come by and get the tour, come on. We'll have fun.
I do not doubt for a second that you will have fun at the Cozy Craft
Yeah.
Room. This has just been a delight. Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
inviting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just such joyful things, and I love that you're creating community and creating things that you can share and experience. So yeah, check out cozycraftroom.com. She's also on Instagram, Cozy Craft Room AZ.
AZ,
on
very
Instagram.
good.
Yep. And if this is your jam, this is where you want to be. So go check it out. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with a new segment and another guest. Yay.
And good Tuesday morning to you out there watching us here on The Morning Show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the
Fabulous Arizona Center. What a fun crowd. I mean, just made these little cute bookmarks.
I know, aren't they cute?
And you get a unicorn butt.
I didn't even look at what these bunnies are. What are the bunnies?
So it's poppin'.
It's popcorn.
It's popcorn, exactly.
Oh, cute.
So.
Oh, isn't
yeah.
that adorable?
Indeed. So you
That
can make
was
all
fun.
kinds of super cute things.
I'm not super crafty. I won't lie. Like that's just not.
But you know, it's all, you were just sitting there putting things together.
No, I know.
So yeah, so you could be crafty.
But I mean, like when I have free time and I want to make something, like I like watercolor or I don't know. I just feel like
They
I'm
also
not,
have
like,
that as
a
well. I
crafter.
mean, you could, as alcohol markers, all kinds of things.
I would do the alcohol markers one. I
Yeah.
think that would be fun. Yeah, making cards would actually be fun. Yeah,
Then just give them away.
yeah. That's why I know. That's why, because that's the thing about crafting. It's like if you meet a serious crafter,
Oh.
they have parts of their house just like
that are designated, or all the stuff on wheels. They can just reel their
Yeah.
craft supplies from place to place.
Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of surprised I'm not a crafter now that we're talking about that part out loud, because I like stacking things.
know,
I like
tomorrow's a new-
collecting things.
Tomorrow's a whole new day. You could.
I know, I could.
Exactly.
Maybe we're just awakening that identity here.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Exactly. All right, so let's do a little bit of some Arizona history.
Let's.
Because it is Statehood Month, being February. And so we are going to talk a little bit, like if you ever go to Tempe, you'll see the mill there on Mill Avenue.
Don't you want your cool intro?
So, oh yeah, I do. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot cool intro. Cute. I'm just not used to having those.
I know.
It's so cool. Wow, and I love how it's on a.
I scrunched my hair while we were
I know,
doing
you're
the
like
intro.
doing all kinds of
I
things.
see it come back
Anyway,
and I'm
so
like,
I'm going
what?
to talk about mills. So, like if you go to Tempe, you'll see Mill Avenue. That's named because of a mill. So back in 1918 today, we were warned that by Washington that the U.S. needed to conserve food in order to win the war. And so mills across Arizona, in order to conserve wheat for the war effort, they started making barley flour, corn flour. So mills across Arizona started creating these other flours, which you can make bread from and things like that. So I thought, what a kind of fun way to, it was a shame it's not Friday when we have Chef on.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I love how you can go get, you can still get from some of those mills custom grain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of chefs actually use those local grains because they can control exactly, get the grind they want.
Yep. Yeah.
And so,
that's very true. Yeah. Yeah.
so there you go. Back in 1918, we were celebrating a variety of milled flours and grains.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were just talking about the Hayden Flour Mill. Do you know what's going on with the Hayden Flour Mill? I heard there was like a deal in.
Yeah, there's deals going on. It's supposed to wind up. I know at one point it was going to be a hotel. I'm not sure. I don't think that
It was?
Well, and they were going to use some space behind it as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
last I heard, I think it was going to be some sort of a venue.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm
It's a
intrigued.
cool building. I mean, you can't miss it if you've spent any
Right.
time at all on
Right.
the Hayden Flour Mill. But anyway, I was just curious if you had the latest scoop.
No, but we should have Vic on, who actually was really integral in the Hayden Flour Mill, even making sure that it's still there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, it is Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday.
It is
Taco
indeed Tuesday, yeah.
Taco List Tuesday. So that means
Taco List Tuesday. Okay, so on our things to do we have tacos? Or I guess actually, let's roll the cool intro. I think you have curves in your hair. And yes, I know I'm like so bad.
it's a giant scrunchie. That's been in style for a while. All right, so we still have not fixed the fact that I'm a karaoke virgin. I don't think we'll be able to fix it tonight, but you can go do Icon's karaoke at Icon's Sports Grill in Gilbert at 8 p.m. This is one of the hottest karaoke spots to sing, eat, drink, and mingle, and they do this every single Tuesday night. It does go from 8 to 11 p.m. It's free entry, free parking, and again, they just ask that you bring some money for food and drink. I tell you what, like 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, you are living life, my friend. I cannot remember the last time I stayed out to an 11 on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I would be like leaving early. It's like, or just be doing karaoke on my own with nobody else really around or anything else.
My do not disturb alert turns on at 8:30, so I can start getting ready for bed because I get up at like 4. So yeah.
So you have to get there early, be first in line, so that way your song can be like the first one that gets done.
Okay, Dylan, challenge for you: senior karaoke that starts at 4:30 or 5 o'clock is more my speed. Expect that. Oh, there are tacos on our things to do.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
so
today.
It's not taco-less.
Tacos and game night at the Social House in Mesa. They are kind of discounting stuff, so you can duel it out in playing spades, Uno, dominoes, and then they also are discounting some tacos. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
You could get some tacos in your Taco-less Tuesday.
You really, really could. So they're going to start happy hour from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. They are suggesting that you RSVP to claim a table, especially if you're going to be playing games, so you have enough space to do that. And it does go until 11:45. It's just those special prices go from 6 to 10. So
okay.
Yeah. So there we go. We just had a guest on yesterday that was all about stand-up, so we thought we'd include a Crack Up stand-up comedy workshop. This is at Upper Crust Pizza Patio in Phoenix. So basically, this is a weekly stand-up workshop that they do. It's just $10 a class, and you get 10 minutes of stage time, and then you get feedback from the community. So you can just pay per class if you want to drop in, or you can also do $40 for 5 classes, so it saves you $10. And it's from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I imagine that's really valuable.
Well, and I'm thinking it's like that feedback. Is it a heckler?
God, I would hope not. I had a heckler at one of my improv shows. It was awful. But no, I assume they give you, like, because it's other people.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's other folks that are also on stage in the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Helping you figure out, well, how could you be a little bit better?
Yeah. I always think that's interesting, the feedback process, because it's like, it's one of those things that's like, if you're kind of trying to make your own style, it's like, do you take all the feedback that they get? You know what I mean?
With a grain of salt. It's like, sometimes you're like, oh, that's actually a good idea. Sometimes it's great.
Right.
But
you have to know. You have to be discerning. Right. Yeah. So anyway, if this is your thing, Marshall, you just said you were thinking about doing a show. Maybe you should drop in for a $10 class.
Who knows?
Ooh.
It's been also, I used to do improv classes in downtown Phoenix for a while.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, you never know. You could pick it back up again.
Indeed.
Okay, and as always, Dylan never fails me. Bingo!
Woohoo! Bingo!
Yep, at
Where
Phoenix Elks Lodge, 335.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's open to the public, actually. It kicks off, this is more my speed, 6:30. Doors open at 4. Totally my speed. Doors open at 4.
Indeed.
They're going to have a snack bar, hot and grilled food, a dinner special. There's going to be bingo prizes, and it's just going to be a lovely time. It does say you have to bring your own daubers, so I don't have a dauber. I didn't even know it was called a dauber, but the second I read it, I knew exactly what a dauber was. Yeah.
Right, it's those little stamper things.
Yes, yeah.
Well, and I was thinking whenever we decide to go live, we should play bingo.
Ooh.
While we're doing it, because I've got the bingo cards that have the sliders.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, that would be kind of fun.
That
Just
would be
randomly
fun.
shout out numbers and
bingo. Okay. Yes. So 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. at the lodge, so you can show up there. And then last but not least, we've got for our Schitt's Creek fans out there some trivia.
I wasn't quite sure what the word after that was going to be. I just heard. I was like, oh.
I know. That's always the thing. Oh, it's such a great show. But yeah, it's at Scratch Pub and Grill at 6 p.m. Ew, David. Yeah. So basically, you can fold in the cheese with us at Schitt's Creek Trivia at 6 p.m. The top 3 teams will win gift cards to the pub. It's free to play, but they, as always, want you to bring some spending money for some food and some drinks. I feel like I would actually do pretty well at Schitt's Creek Trivia.
I think I would do pretty well, although I'd also be intrigued. It's like, I would also want to dress up. Because, I mean, Moira just wore some amazing...
Well, I was just going to say,
it's
yeah.
like, you couldn't just, like, come in, like, wife beaters and a pair of jeans.
Did I tell you about when I dressed like Moira Rose for when they had the Edgar Allan Poe Speakeasy? Because remember she was in that movie, The Crowing?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called. And so so I went with that for my look.
Fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. No, and I, you know, and I mean, all those actors are just so, that was such a fun show.
Oh yeah, they're delightful. I know. And like really, if you find out about, so many of them were about ready to like give up acting before that show happened. They had no idea it was going to be this kind of like cult hit the way, like,
Right.
it's just
I mean, it's
heartwarming.
like Eugene Levy and his son. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so.
Have you seen the travel show with Eugene Levy?
No.
He's such a curmudgeon. Oh my god.
Oh, I remember watching him in Second City TV back in the CTV days.
Yeah, and he's not even staying in like lower accommodation. Like he's in like really expensive places that I would never be able to afford, and he's just like, I don't know about that.
Nice.
Okay. But yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with our guest for you. And we'll close out the show with
some birthdays. Yeah. And welcome back to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We are here at our favorite place, the
The
fabulous Arizona Center.
Center.
I ran out of air saying that, so you finished
Well,
the
and I
center.
ran out of coffee, so I can't say powered by Bosa Coffee because my cup is empty.
But you were powered by Bosa Coffee.
Indeed, I was, but
Yeah, okay.
I'm just waiting. It's just now kicking in, so batten the hatches.
Uh-oh.
Indeed, it's going to be a bumpy night.
Well, we're so happy you are joining us on this Tuesday. I am sitting next to somebody who is stylistically putting me to shame right now with how sharp she looks in these threads. Brooke Walker, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Look at you, from the nails to everything. It's like
Indeed.
I mean, you got to go all
coordinated.
in.
You do, yeah, that is commitment. So, Brooke, you have a podcast.
Yes.
How to Leave a Cult.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your podcast and what, I mean, I assume from the title I can guess what it's about, but share more.
Sure. So, How to Leave a Cult is actually about, a lot of it's really my biography. Mm-hmm. So, it's talking about my story of when my family joined a church here in Phoenix when I was 8 years old, which happens to have been a cult, and how my story being in it, what it was like when we joined, what my life was like, being in an arranged marriage, having my 2 kids at a very young age, and then eventually getting out. And so I'm sharing it because I want to be able to help people to understand what religious abuse looks like,
Yeah.
and that it comes in many forms. And then I try to help by giving some tips on what I've done to heal, so that hopefully other people can find ways to heal from that, so it's not something they continue to carry on.
What qualifies an experience to be a cult?
That is really broad and vague, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, a lot of people have a lot of, that's why I try to say a little bit like religious abuse.
Yeah.
Because it's more like it can come from even mainstream
Right.
sources of religion.
Yeah.
You know, and cults can have mainstream sources of religion. The one that I was in was not mainstream at all. It was pretty different. The woman was a medium and she tranced a spirit.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of different practices in the one that I was in.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason I ask is I grew up, I say it now, but for a long time I wouldn't say it. I grew up in a cult, a religious cult, and it was one of those things that for a long time I was like, well, I don't know. Can I say, like, was it, you know?
Yeah.
And then you kind of just get to a point where you're like, yeah, yeah, that is what it was, you know? And I think it's such an interesting topic to have a podcast about, because I don't think that there's a lot of conversation about what the real world feels like, looks like after you're on the other side of it, and
Right.
the long-term impacts that it has on your life. You know, that's something that for me, every time I like talk to my therapist, I'm like, man, I thought I worked through that, but it's back. Yeah.
Well, and I think that, I mean, I was even talking to my parents about this recently, and my family's all out, but like, it's sometimes like the farther you get from it, the worse it looks.
Yeah.
Like the more you're like, oh wow, that was way worse than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
That was way more damaging. And it creeps in, and I think that this is what happens. It's like, you know, you go through layers of it where it creeps in, and it's like, for me, it was when my kids were teenagers, it was having moments of like them going to school and being like, well, I didn't have this experience. How do I parent to this? Because, you know, and going, okay, a lot of the times for me, healing was going, well, this is how I was taught to do this.
Right.
And that was wrong.
Right.
What do I wish had happened?
Right. Yeah.
So I parented a lot, and in a way that healed me a lot was, how do I wish this had been done for me?
Yeah.
As opposed to what's right, you know, because that's pretty relative.
I think that's a really great way to approach that. I'm curious about your listeners. Do you find that a lot of people who listen to your podcast, are they from a similar background than you, or is it people who are just like curious about the cult
I think
thing?
I think there's a lot of both. I think there's so many people that are just interested in cults in general, you know, and I run into people all the time, which is part of the reason that I did the podcast, because I had so many people who reached out to me and they were like, you know, I had an experience, and it was with a mainstream church, or it was with this, and it was just a manipulation that they were having trouble coming to grips with. And so that was one of the reasons I really launched it. But I've been shocked by how many people who've reached out to me from the church that I was in. You know, people who decided to go look it back up, which it's not in existence anymore, but they would go look it up, and then they ran across my podcast, and they had been involved 30 years ago, but they thanked me for like giving them some clarity of like, there was a lot of things that were really difficult about that time in my life.
Yeah.
So what can folks who didn't grow up in your situation, what can they learn from your podcast?
You know, I think even if you haven't been in it, you may just be there for the story. Everybody loves a good story. It is a fascinating story. If it wasn't my life, I probably would. I still look back and I go, I can't believe that was ever my life, because it's so different now. And then I think the other thing is, you know, I think I come up with a lot of practical things on how to, you know, I talk a lot about things like forgiveness and gratitude and meditation, and I'm very much the science behind it, because I had to kind of come back at it from a different point. I'm not in the like just have faith in it, because I've been through too much of that. So I'm like, a reason to do this, if you've gone through anything difficult, is this can be really beneficial and help you get over this type of pain. So like I talk about journaling and how, you know, using a system of journaling can be very healing if you've had any kind of minor trauma even.
Right.
So things like that.
Yeah. How did you end up getting out of the cult situation?
It was a very long process, because being in it at such a young age, like I was raised and I had no tools for the longest time. Like by the time I was in my young 20s, I was a single mom. I had 2 kids. I had a GED. I had never worked a job outside of the businesses that were in the church I was in. And my husband left me. So at 22 years old, and I had never paid rent. Like, because there was all these financial things that I was so dependent on.
Right.
So it was like that, there was a lot of promises that kept me in.
Yeah.
So the promises of why I was marrying the person I was marrying and all these different things, as the illusions slowly started getting shed away from me, that was when and then I started slowly picking up ways to like take care of myself. And I went to school and I got my bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
And so it was like the things that I started doing to be able to strengthen myself so that I wasn't dependent on that.
Right. Yeah. Well, what a remarkable story. I'm curious, how long have you been doing your podcast?
I started it, it's been over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it a weekly podcast, monthly? How often do episodes come out?
It's about twice a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have other people that have had cult experiences come on and join you on the podcast?
So far, I've only had people that were actually in the church that I'm in.
Okay.
I think in the future, I probably will have people from other cults, but
Yeah.
it's been interesting, the people that have reached out to me. So I'm, right
Yeah.
now it's still like a big part of it's just talking about my story, because there's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also sure if you're dealing with folks even from the same church, their take on it can be different than, because everyone's experience is going to be a little bit different. So it's like your experience might not be someone else's, and so that healing process can be different for each of you.
Right.
Yeah, we can. My sister and her, I got this from my sister and her husband. We kind of talk about it like it's like the Marvel series, right? There's the base story and how everybody intertwines, and then there's everybody's individual story.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of more fun ways to think about it occasionally. I know it's really traumatic, but I try to come at it with like, let's find a way to be able to smile after all the trauma that you've been through, because there was a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
So, but life goes on, and I don't want to carry that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, I find that so honorable, and I think that that's one of the hardest things to watch, is when people allow their past to dictate their present and their future, and so I'm just so thrilled that you're able to work through this and provide a platform for other people that have been through this experience to relate to and learn from. I'm curious why, like, a lot of people, when they go through something like this, they write a book, or they'll even go on tours and talk about it. Like, why the podcast?
That's a great question. I really thought about writing a book for a very long time. I actually would start things and then stop, and I found that writing for me was too limited to all the things that I wanted to be able to put into it, and I felt like a podcast was just a better platform.
Yeah, for sure. Well, sorry, go ahead, Marshall.
Well, and also, how did you find this one? Because I think also writing is very much more solitary, where being a podcast is you're really putting yourself out there. I mean, you have your voice, you have your people, you're easier to reach at that point. So how did you find that strength to be able to share your story in that format?
And can I add a caveat in there
Yeah.
too? Like, also, as you're doing it, like, is it re-triggering? Or
Yes.
do you feel, I know. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I mean, from a day to day, I actually enjoy it. There's something about it that's very healing for me. But there are definitely moments where there are things that come up, or I get contacted by somebody and I get into long discussions about things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go for a walk, and I need to like go into the things that help me heal and de-stress and let go of it, right? So I definitely pull into a lot of tools on a daily basis to try to like move through it when I have a day that's stressful. And yes, there are memories that I never forgot anything.
Right.
But there are memories that come back, and I'm like, I realize I haven't processed how angry I was about it, or how hurt I was by that situation, or the advantage that was taken of me or somebody else in the situation. And so those moments, I just spend time going, okay, what do I need to do so that this situation isn't something that brings that up for me, so that I can talk about this and it doesn't bring me to tears, and it doesn't make me angry, and it doesn't bring up all those emotions. Because even in my last episode, I talked about triggers.
Yeah.
And I think when we've been through trauma, we are surrounded by little landmines of our trauma that we've been through. And people may set those off, but those are ours. Once you're an adult, those are yours to go and take care of, so that you can have whatever conversation and you can go through whatever experience and not feel like it's going to set something off in you at any given time.
Yeah, it's that taking responsibility for the non-reactivity that you can cultivate in yourself. And I think, Brené Brown does such a good job, right, of talking about the difference between when you're just like an open wound, kind of just like pouring everything out, and that can re-trigger other people, whereas opposed when you've worked through to a certain extent
Yeah.
some of that trauma, and you're able to be non-reactive about it, that's when you're able to invite healing, not just for yourself, but for other people in those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
So,
I love her.
Yeah, I know, me too. Well, let our viewers know where they can find your podcast and listen and learn more about you and everything going on.
Yeah, so it is How to Leave a Cult, and you can find it on anywhere you can find a podcast. So Spotify, I'm on YouTube, Audible, Apple Podcasts, so wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. And then I'm on social media as well. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but I'm not very TikTok savvy. So
I don't know if that's going to be around much
I
longer
was gonna
anyway.
say,
who knows
so.
how long?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the new version of TikTok, everyone's saying it's drastically different, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you
sharing
guys
a
for
little
having
bit
me.
about your podcast. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with just one more segment for you and a final farewell.
Good morning and welcome back to the morning show on this Hump Day Eve.
You keep throwing me every time you don't say Tuesday.
Well, because indeed it is Tuesday, but
No, I know. It is Hump Day Eve, yes.
it
Hump
is.
Day Eve.
And I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley, and we are both at the
Fabulous
fabulous
Arizona
Arizona
Center.
Center. I like the way our colors look together, Marshall.
You know, we keep matchy somehow.
I know.
We don't even plan it.
Well, I mean, we're not. They're just like complimentary.
yeah,
like
but
I
I mean,
like.
yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Should we just sit here and tell each other how much we like?
well,
each
we just
other's
have our
clothes?
crack wardrobe team.
Crack indeed.
All right, so let's do some birthdays.
Let's do it.
It's your birthday. Jump up, go have a great day. Everyone has come to see you. Make a wish and hope it comes true.
Yay!
Indeed. I'm just so happy to see those. So we talked about how today is I Heart Horror Day. Now the reason why is because actually there's two reasons. So George A. Romero's birthday is today, and he is basically the father of the zombie film. Doing things like the Dead franchise back in the late 60s, started Night of the Dead,
Okay.
Night of the Living Dead back in 1968, went on to do other things like Creepshow,
Oh yeah,
which
Creep
I've
Show.
still never seen Creepshow.
Oh, you haven't?
No, because I remember seeing the trailer for it once, and there is this scene where you see a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And you see like one roach climb in, two roaches, and then suddenly it's like this explosion of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will not see that movie for that reason.
Okay, so we know where Marshall draws the line now.
Exactly.
Roaches.
A roach fountain is not
Not
something
gonna do
that
it.
I want to invite into my life.
Okay.
So.
Okay, fair.
So indeed, and so yeah, I mean, so also the other icon is Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
Indeed, a home
A
Arizona
beloved
boy.
Arizona guy. Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, basically went to school out in Tempe, was on the swim team, and for a talent show, they came out and did a number, and everyone loved it. And so they had a band for a while called the Spiders, then became Alice Cooper, really playing up on that, bringing fake blood, snakes, electric chairs, really ramping up that theatricality in rock music.
Yep.
So whenever you think of so much of just that outrageous fashion, that glam rock, it was Alice Cooper.
And now he does so much
Oh my
incredible
gosh,
work
yeah.
with the Alice Cooper Solid Rock Foundation.
Right.
They host competitions for up and coming musicians. Christmas pudding. It's
Right.
always
Every
such
year,
a
I
great
mean, I have
time.
friends that every year they get their tickets to
Yeah.
go see it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, he's still very active and very
Yes.
philanthropic, and really working with youth. So what an amazing guy he is.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Alice Cooper, and such a nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
I mean, it was funny because I ran into him at one, and he was trying on a pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And he was just so nice and gracious.
Yeah. Actually, his wife is like it's just a great organization that they've built, and
Right.
yeah, no, he's a great person.
Indeed. And then also today is Rosa Parks' birthday.
Oh, okay.
So famous for the first lady of the civil rights movement.
Yes.
I mean, basically refusing to move her seat on a bus.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rosa Parks.
Indeed. And then also when we talk about airplanes in Arizona, well, actually just airplanes in general, Charles Lindbergh is probably one of the most famous names.
What a cool photo.
And so this is him actually looking into Canyon Duché.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that not only just flying in famous for that transcontinental flight ending in Paris, but also he did a lot of just flying over in Arizona taking photos and was really one of the forerunners of doing aerial photography and letting people actually study those.
Oh, cool.
So him and his wife did all of this, and because a couple of years ago the Channel Museum had an exhibit of some of those photos from across Arizona.
That's neat.
So yeah, so it's like I love the fact that he did all these national things but also helped Arizona discover itself.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
I think what a perfect way to end another day in Arizona Statehoods Month.
The
Yeah.
month of Arizona State.
Indeed.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, we're going to wrap up this Tuesday because I have to pee, and in case you can't tell, I'm doing the happy dance. But we
Thanks for
love
sharing.
spending. Hey, we're family here.
Yeah,
They
true,
get to know these
true.
things now. We're family here. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back Wednesday with a brand new show for you. Hump Day.
We'll see you back here on Hump Day.
Hump Day. We should.